Hallelujah. In the name of Lord Jesus Christ, we shall continue to look into the book of Joshua. So, as promised, today we will cross Jordan River. Okay? So, if we don't get to cross Jordan River today, you don't get to leave this room. Okay? So, we will keep on going and going until we cross Jordan River. So you better have your finger crossed, okay, that we are able to do it. Okay, good. All right, so we want to, okay, before we cross Jordan River, the river is just there. Okay? The river is there, and there is no way for them to cross Jordan River on their own. Okay? So now, if you want to see how God divided river, you want to see how God make a differences in your life, you want to see a way out, an opening that can bring you into a greater place, a higher ground. There are things that you must do. Just like in the morning in our prayer section, that we made it very clear. It's not about when will God come and help you. It's when you call it enough. It's when you call it enough. I am tired of being weak. I am tired to be far away from God. I am tired to be controlled by my emotion. I am tired to be bounded by social media. If you don't say it's enough, then you will leave the Lord waiting. I mean, the Lord is always there, right at the door. So you are sitting on the sofa and say, come, help me, I'm dying. And the Lord is like, okay, open the door. I am dying, but I'm not opening the door. So whose fault is that? The help is there, but you refuse for the help to come in. You can continue to whine. You can act as you are very painful or sorrowful. I am so sorrowful, so weak, I need help. But I'm not opening the door. I am not going to get up. And I am not changing. Then you know what? Stop wasting your time and stop wasting my time. If you do not want to change, why would you bother? So there are things you must do. You want to cross Jordan River, there are things you must do. For the people of Israel, we talked about it yesterday. What is it? You need to get out of the comfort zone. You need to get up. This is what they mean by enough. You know that I don't know, because it has been a long time since I really get myself into games. Don't you feel very, like at the end of spending 6 hours, 7 hours playing games, and suddenly you're like, man, I got final tomorrow. When you keep on repeating this kind of episode in your life, don't you think life is so bored and meaningless? I don't know. I used to play games. I actually got my first job offer. I got my first job offer from a gaming company. Yep, they want me to work as a game tester. And I also got my first income. No, I turned down that. I turned down that offer. Yeah, because the game company is the more the puzzle, like the thing that you need to use a lot of brain power. I don't like that. All right. So I turned down the offer. But then I make incomes. At that time, in the old days, game it's not as complicated as today. So I modify game settings, and people pay me for that. So from playing games, I played those. I help those who play games. I don't know. Just don't you feel kind of bored and waste of time, life, where you spend hours and hours? I don't know. I'm just old people. Old people don't understand. Because after the reality kicks in, I found playing real thing, stock market, like real fluctuation with real money, and battling with real people. I found it much more interesting than. But anyway, that's your life. You are not my kids. All right. And I have. Okay, no such. We need to cross Jordan River. All right. Crossing Jordan River. Oh, you are not leaving this room. All right. So number one, in order to cross Jordan River, you need to get out, get up, and say, "Oh no more being so weak." Okay, and then you say, "Lord, I need your help because I am going to change from today and on." Okay, so that's one. You get out of your comfort zone, but then where? You need to follow the Ark of the Covenant. Okay, you need to have direction. So in order for you to cross Jordan River, you need to know where you are heading. Because if you do not follow the Ark of Covenant, you say, "Go, charge, go." And then you're like, "Hey, Egypt." Then slavery land, you returned. All right, they are not that far. Remember, it took you 40 years. It took you 40 years to get out of it and reach the promised land. But it would only take 10 days for you to go from land of Canaan back to Egypt. The direct direction is only 10 days. It's very difficult to get out, but it's very easy for you to go back to the old way. Okay? Just like in here, in 10 days, in 2 weeks, you are start getting used to the life in here. You are start to getting used to, you start realize that I can live even without my phone with me all the time. You start feel you are not as attached to your phone. Okay? But then, it takes you 2 weeks to get to where you are today. I need the phone. I use the phone, but I am not controlled by the phone. If I don't use it, toss it somewhere. Don't break it. Just toss it somewhere. You can live without it because you got other things to do. Okay, you got people to talk to. You got your project, your work. If you have nothing to do, learn how to cook. All right, you can make cheesecake. All right, you can make. I should have used projector. I'll show you my cheesecake. Yeah. Yes. You know that in these 2 years of pandemic, have you developed any skill? In these 2 years, you know that a lot of times I feel, put the faith aside. Again, let's put the faith aside. Your life, what are the skill set that you develop with whatever you need to deal with in life? As I say, I begin by playing games. Then I found them more interesting, making money from people who are addicted to games, because they pay. They have, I told them that, this is difficult. Come back in 2 days. But after they leave, it took me 10 minutes, and I charged $200. Because I can do something you cannot, then you pay up. So for me, it's more interesting of how to manipulate the system than be part of the system. So, for gaming, it becomes what? How to manipulate the programming, the system. Many of you know that I like to play with camera, but I can fix camera. I buy tools from I open up but I fix film cameras. I don't do digitals. All right. So that's another skill set. From able to take photos. So I take photo for members. I take wedding photo for members too. So I take photo, and in one of the wedding, my wedding gifts, I took one of the photo for the bride and the groom, and I enlarged it. And sometimes I build into those photo albums, not the one that you insert the printout, but you actually design, customize it, and having the company print it. Those are expensive. Those go like $56 per book. Right? So sometimes I gave that to newlywed as a gift. So those are skill sets. Skill sets. In the pandemic, my newly developed skill set is cooking, making cakes, or you need to. In your life, it's a continuous process of developing skill sets, more than just I just play. You know that for the past two years, my son and we have been building Gundam, the Japanese robots. We've been building Gundam. From building Gundams to panel lining, now I do the full set of airbrushing. I know how to do airbrush. Right? From the simple can, at first you don't know anything, so you just buy the can, but those are too expensive. So you have to develop, improve, improvise. And I teach my son how to do airbrushing. Okay? And I take that skill to airbrush my cake. You have to develop skill. Come on. At the end of the day, in your prime time, in your best of the youth, what skill set do you have? That the skill set can be bring that into real life. No, gaming skill set stays inside the computer. All right, you cannot, when you hang out with friends, let me show you my gaming skill set. You don't. So you really need to think what kind of skill set that you are able to develop. You know that when I was in California, when I was working in California in my 20s, I was like, California is a boring place compared to, I came from New York. There are a lot of things. There are things happening in New York every day. California, I was like, so bored. So you develop skill set. I am certified licensed scuba diver. Yes, I do have I have certification. I am certified diver. Even I haven't get into the water for years. This time, moving from New York to California, I found my wetsuit. The only thing is I couldn't put it beyond the thigh. It's stuck here. And my wife she had the best laugh. Yeah. So, why am I talking about this? All right. So, man, you need to make your time useful. Seriously, now is your prime time. Even if you do not want to talk about faith, all right. Take your prime time, read the Bible. Take your prime time, aiming for Africa, something. But other than that, if you do not want to talk about faith, even without faith, even put away the faith, what other skill sets do you have that you are able to look and say, hey, I am able to do something different? Seriously, how many of you can do airbrushing? How many of you got certified in scuba diving? How many of you can do mango cheesecake? I'm sorry. It's just something that I'm very proud of myself. 2 years ago, I don't cook. 2 years ago, before pandemic, I do not step into the kitchen. Okay, I don't. The only thing I know is dumpling and eggs. Just like probably all of you. Okay? Now I can cook. But anyway, let's continue. So, number 2, now you get up in your life. You say enough. But then where? You say enough. No more Facebook. Wasting my life. Now I do Twitter. Now I Instagram, I Snapchat. You are no different. You are not following the arc. So you get up, you say enough. Then you need to find a greater meaning, a right direction to follow. But number 3, if you go back to chapter Joshua chapter 3, in verse 5. And Joshua said to the people, sanctify yourself. Sanctify yourself. Okay. So number 3 in here, Joshua made it very clear. Now if you want to cross Jordan River, now if you want to cross Jordan River, you want to see how God work miracles in your life. Because they know that there's no way for them to cross Jordan River if God does not get involved. So they know they are pending, waiting for a great miracle to occur in front of their eyes. So Joshua made it very clear. You want to see miracle? You want to see how God do amazing things in your life? You sanctify yourself. You also want it, right? You want to see miracle. You want to see sign. You want to see how God opened the way for you. Make the impossible possible. You want to see how God work in your life. But you don't sanctify yourself. Then you don't get to see anything. Joshua said, you want to see how God divide the Jordan River? You want to see how God do great things in your life? Sanctify yourself. That's the requirement for people of Israel. Okay? So number 1, get out of your comfort zone. Number 2, make sure that you follow the right direction. Number 3, you need to re-examine yourself. And you need to wash yourself clean so that you are able to see something amazing in your life. Okay? Continue. No, we have not yet crossed Jordan River, so you are not going anywhere. Let's continue. Now we talk about the people. Next, Joshua talk about the worker. The worker. Let's turn to Joshua chapter 3. How about the worker? How about the worker in verse 6? In verse 6, Joshua chapter 3, verse 6. Verse 6. Then Joshua spoke to the priest, saying, take up the ark of the covenant and cross over before the people. So they took up the ark of the covenant and they went before the people. Now, the worker, the priest, the first requirement is carry the ark and go ahead. Carry the ark and go ahead before the people. Now, for the people of Israel, they are the recipient of the miracle. However, for the workers, for the priests, they are the participant in the mighty work of the Lord. Unfortunately, realistically, different. Different input, different value. The people, they get to see the miracle. Ooh, wonderful, they get to see it. The priests, they get to be part of the miracle. You can be, that you can choose in our life. For you, maybe for some of you, Living in the grace of the Lord is enough. Fine, I just want to have a good life. I just want to have a life that I know God will help me when I need help. Some people choose that way. Some people say, no, I want to be part of God's plan. I want to find a greater purpose in my life. Different resolution bring forth different value in life. You can choose. You can choose just be one of the Israel sitting there and say, Moses, do something for us. Moses, do something for us. Oh, miracle. You can be like that. But for that, you get to see the miracle. You never get to be part of the miracle. You never get to be there, the first hand, seeing the amazing work of the Lord. However, in order to be the first one seeing the work of the Lord, you need to be at the front. You need to be the pioneer. You need to be willing to take the risk. You need to go before others. That's how it is. It depends on how much you are willing to put up with. People talk about Africa. You can be here, listen to the story and say, wow, amazing, wow, wonderful, wow, so good, wow, the work of God. You can, sharing the work of God is amazing, it's wonderful. Good for you. But it is different. It is different when you are there and it happens right in front of you after you pray. Because you become part of the miracle. When I was in Africa, the first time I was there, I was not very smart. So I got malaria. I figured that I want to find out what will work for African mosquitoes. So I brought a lot of different gadgets, such as Taiwan's sonic wave mosquito repeller. It emits the frequency to catch away the mosquito. I used some attachments, like the stickers, that's supposed to also repel. I brought off, the fan, off. American, you insert the medicine, and then there's a fan that you carry on your belt, and then it's supposed to also repel the. No, I was so naive. African mosquito fear nothing. Seriously, there was once I saw a mosquito on the wall, and I took the off fan. Off the fan is meant to repel, right? So I took the fan. I was aiming at that mosquito. It didn't go. It just like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. So it took several minutes as I was using the fan in a close range directly, just keep on blowing the medicine until it actually dropped and died. I was like, why? Why do you have to be so stubborn? Can't you just, no, they don't. Yeah, so you know that my first trip in Africa, I got mosquito bite everywhere because they are not afraid of anything I brought. And I got malaria. I got malaria the day before I need to set out to a different country, crossing border with a 10-hour ride, and I couldn't. I was having a chill, I was having fever, I was having dizzy, nausea, everything. It was terrible. But then, I was so devastated. I was like, Lord, I don't want to stay here by myself because all the workers will move to a next country. But I am not physically fit to do that. At the same time, I don't want to be alone by myself in this place that I do not know anybody. It's pretty scary. And they say, how about hospital? I said, no, I heard you going with a fever. You might not come out alive. So I told them, no, I'm not going to hospital. So as I was there, and I was on my bed, I was just like, Lord, why? You know, the church spent all this money, sent me here, and I end up, you know, unable to do anything. I'm wasting your money. So I was just, so what I did is, I actually just, because I was having a fever, so I leaned against the side of my bed, and I was praying. The next thing I know, all the workers, local worker and the worker from UK, they all came into the room, and they all joined in the prayer, and then they lay hand on me one by one, and I have no idea what happened after that because I faint. So I passed out after they laid hand on me. The next thing I realized is when I woke up, it was like 2 hours later. So I don't know when they left. I do not know when they finished praying. I do not know when they leave the room. The only thing I know is after 2 hours, all the symptoms gone. I was fully recovered after 2 hours. Malaria gone, fever gone, everything gone. And I was able to set out on the journey the following day. For me, that's the first-hand experience of God. And you need to be there to see that. So, hearing is good, but able to be part of the miracle is better. But in order to be part of the miracle, you need to walk before the people. Means you need to take up the challenge. You need to put up, you need to be ready to sacrifice. You need to be more brave. You need to put in extra effort. Okay? So for the workers, the Lord said to them, carry the ark and go before the people. Means that you are willing to take on the extra burden. Then as we go back, quite often in the church, you only want to do what you are able to do. You only want to do something that you are good at. Right? People want to, hey, you know, if something I'm good at it, something I'm comfortable, then when the church says, can you do it? I say, no problem. But if it's something that you can do, but you might not be very good at, or you don't want to make yourself a bit embarrassing, you just say, no. I only do things I'm good at. That's still fine. At least you are doing something. But you are only in here. You are in your comfort zone. But if the church asks you to do something that you are not very confident, you are able to do, but not very confident. Or it required you to put up extra effort, give out more, practice more, learn more. At this time, you need to decide. Will you take on the ark? If you do, then you will experience how God make up for your insufficient. Yeah, you might not be very good at it. But the Lord said, it's not about you, it's always about me. Still remember when I first joined TTP and be assigned to lead services. It's very, very frightening. After 15 years, now I feel more comfortable. But I have to tell you at the beginning, public speaking or standing on the pulpit, giving a message is very, very scary. And afraid that I might blank out. Probably that's how you feel, those who are graduating, like working on your graduation sermon. That's why you try to write out word by word. I understand being there. So, I still remember back then, before the service began, as I was kneeling there praying, worry, fear, all this emotion, and I always end my prayer telling God that this is not about me, it is about you. If I mess up, that might embarrass you. Yeah, I was trying to get, you don't want to get embarrassed, right? So you might want to help me out a little bit. I still remember in one of the service, I was assigned in a place I was not familiar with. I was very nervous. So I always pray and say, Lord, 50-50, 50-50. So, you know, like I do have, you do have. If I don't do well, and then you get embarrassed. So 50-50. And as I was about to ring the bell, and I said to the Lord, "Are you ready?" I don't know what I was thinking. I was about to ring the bell. I was like, "Okay, it's about time. We need to do this now. We do this together. Are you ready?" And then I heard a voice say, "I am always ready." I guess the problem is my side then. The Lord is like, "I am always ready." So for me, that's a very unique experience. And that really strengthened my faith. But you need to be in that situation to be part of the miracle. If you always enjoy to stay behind the scene, away from all the pressure, avoid all the challenges, you will never feel that. You will never get to experience. You get to hear how other people experiencing the first hand how God works, but you won't be part of it. If you never tell yourself, okay, yeah, I will try. If you never do that, if you're always in your comfort zone, you will never be part of this. All right? So number one, Moses said to them, Joshua said to them, carry the cross and then go before the people. Number two, if you continue to look at chapter 3. Now we are crossing. Okay. Within 10 minutes before, within 10 minutes before this class ends, we will part the river. Okay. So number two, if you go to chapter 3. Chapter 3. Chapter 3, verse 13. Let's read 14. So it was when the people set out from their camp to cross over the Jordan, with the priests bearing the ark of the covenant before the people. 15. And as those who bore the ark came to Jordan, and the feet of the priests who bore the ark dip into the edge of the water, for the Jordan overflowed all its bank during the whole time of harvest. Number two, dip into the water. Why? The Bible specifically say, if you look up, the Bible specifically say that they dip into the water, and also say that the water overflow the bank. In our impression, water is soft and gentle. But you probably also watch from the news how flood could be extremely terrifying. How flood can take, the flood come by, it even rush and carry the house away. Sometimes you see that, right? Especially for those of you from like Florida, like from East Coast, from Southeast, that you have hurricanes coming in. And the flood could be extremely powerful. That the flood not only take people away, take animal away. Sometimes you see how the car being carried away by the flood. Or the house collapse, the bridge collapse. So water, overflowing of the water could be extremely dangerous. So at this time, by the Bible specifically, purposely tell you that the water overflow, which means that it's extremely dangerous. It's extremely dangerous to get near to the water because you might be swept away and drown and die. Okay? That's what happened. But the interesting thing is, the Lord said to them, you need to get into the water. If you compare, there are two incidents in the Bible. Two incidents. The first time is divide the Red Sea. The second time is divide the Jordan River. In both incidents, the great water were parted. But in two incidents, the involvement of people were very different. By the Red Sea, what did they do? Nothing. Nothing. The only thing they just cry, what's going on? Why are we going to die here? You know, the only thing they can do is they just shout, cry, complain. They didn't do anything. And then Moses with the rod of the Lord, did it himself. All right, like it didn't involve anyone else. He just, all right, the Lord said, okay, you go. So Moses part the Red Sea. People did not need to do anything about it. Why? Because at this time they were baby. They were spiritually immature. They were baby. So Moses did everything. Or shall I say that God did everything for them? The only thing that they did is cry and complain. But after 40 years, now by the Jordan River, it is different. The Lord said, you priests, carry the ark of the Lord. You get your feet into the water first. The Lord said, you need to step into the water and stand in the water in order for the Red Sea, for the river to part. Okay, if you read verse 8, chapter 3, verse 8, this is the instruction of God. You shall command the priests who bear the ark of the covenant, saying, when you have come to the edge of the water of Jordan, you shall stand in the Jordan. What does it mean? It means that if you do not step into the water, nothing will ever happen. This is not the time to pray. You can pray all you want. By the Jordan River, you can pray all you want. Nothing will be done for you. Nothing. Very often we say, prayer is the key, prayer is the key. We pray. At this time, God will tell you, no. Stop. Don't pray. Don't pray. Get your feet in the water first. Why? Because sometimes prayer becomes an excuse. Prayer becomes an excuse that I don't want to do it. Like the church asks you to do something and you say, oh, I'm still praying. Oh, I'm still cultivating. I still wait for my perfection in faith. Is it true or it is only an excuse so you don't need to put your feet into the water? You have to be very careful. There are times, if you are like a baby, spiritual baby, then by the Red Sea, you don't know how to do it, God will do it for you. Just like as parents, when we have little kids, you know that when your child is 6 months old, you do not say to the child, change your own diaper. You don't. Because the only thing they know is crying and whining. Okay? When they are 6 months old, the only thing they know is just cry. So you feed them, you change their diaper, you pamper them when they were a baby. But when they turn 40 years old, you just give them the spoon and say, feed yourself. Same thing for you and I. After all this year, you are not a baby anymore, I hope. Then why are you always expecting the treatment of a baby? Lord, do this, Lord, do this, Lord, do this. The Lord will say to you, you do it first. So at this time, prayer is no use. Please do remember, God gave you a very specific instruction. Get your feet in the water. You don't do it, don't bother to pray because nothing will be done for you. Because at this time, prayer becomes an excuse to dodge, to avoid responsibility. Okay? So at this time, the Lord said to Joshua, tell the priest, I know, the water overflowed the bank. I know, it's very dangerous, but I still want you to do it first. You can be there like rolling on the floor. No, why? I am not doing it. I cannot. You can, by all means, you can roll on the floor, rolling back, rolling forth, and I'm not doing it. Then the Lord said, I'm not doing it either. This is why we don't see miracle in our life. We are always waiting. We say that, Lord, if you do this for me, then I will do that for you. No, it doesn't work. You are not a baby anymore, so it doesn't work. Okay? Like now you are running into a problem. For example, now you are working, you run into your boss say that you need to work on Saturday, and then you say in your prayer, Lord, if you give me a better job that pays the bill, then I will go to my boss and tell him I don't work on Saturday. So if he fire me, I got another job. A lot of times we always expect you need to give me an assurance before I put up any risk. That's not a risk. That's not. But the Lord doesn't like to see that. Our Lord have a higher expectation from you. The Lord want to see what you going to do. So then here, the Lord say, you do it first. You do it. So at this time, you pray, useless. You cry, you whine, useless. Only until you wipe your tears and say, fine. And then you step in first, and then you will see. But if you compare two verses, the instruction of the Lord says, until you stand inside the river, right? That's what the Bible says. You stand. That's the instruction of the Lord. But what is the reality? Reality is not. The term, you stand in the water, versus the term, the dipping. The term, dipping. I believe your English is way better than mine. You know the differences. Stand means that you are completely get in there and you stand still, and then you will see something happen. But that's what God wants. Or that's what God said. So you say, fine, I will stand. I will stand. I will, so much water. But, well, so when you thought that you need to step into it, stand still before you are able to see anything. The reality is, this is called the mercy of the Lord. The Lord asks you, you stand, but the fact is, even when the tip of their feet, dip means touching. The Lord say, you need to do this. And you say, fine, I will do it. But then you are going to see. You are going to see. When you have this determination, say, fine, whatever you say, even I don't like it, I'm going to do it. Then you will see how God make things way easier. Just the tip of your feet, when you dip in the water, then the water divided. And then the river of Jordan parted for you. See, we get to part the river. All right, let's all pray in silence.